soluble fiber. So that is kind of invisible in that you don't see it. But it is the one that's going in and helping with, maintaining healthy cholesterol, maintaining blood sugar levels. It's a food for the
Hmm.
healthy bacteria in our intestines. That's one of the big things that it does. That has all the benefits that we associate with fiber. Fiber really is the soluble fiber. So some people do choose to try to follow a diet that eliminates those specific types of fibers. Now that can be challenging. There's a long list of foods that contains those. It can be to a somewhat restrictive diet. However, for people following that type of diet, this specific form of fiber is considered to be acceptable and even helpful.
Welcome, folks, to episode 177 of the Healthy Habit Podcast. Happy 2025. We hope you've all been having a great start to your years and to your New Year's. We're talking with Dr. Kate here today in our Natural Factors Check-In. Author and naturopathic doctor, Dr. Kate Rhéaume, is a graduate and former faculty member of CCNM, Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine. Dr. Kate lectures internationally on many topics related to health and wellness, and is a frequent guest on radio and television across North America. She's the author of the best-selling book, Vitamin K2 and the Calcium Paradox, How a Little-Known Vitamin Could Save Your Life. And Dr. Kate's quickly become a fan favorite here on the podcast. I would go back and check out our previous episodes with her. You can just type in the search bar on our YouTube channel or Spotify channel. Just type in Dr. Kate, and all of our past episodes with Dr. Kate will pop up. Welcome back, Dr. Kate. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Dr. Dan. Great to be back on the show.
Excited to have you back, and we're talking all things healthy digestion when food is everywhere. I like the title of this one because literally on every block now there's fast food and different restaurants all over the place. So where can we start? What do we do when all this food is everywhere all around us here in North America? How do we start getting our digestion in order?
I think one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain is what is it? To eat is human, to digest is divine. And
Hmm,
sure, for anybody who's had problems
interesting.
with digestion, you'll know how true that is. And of course, the foundation of healthy digestion starts with what you're eating.
Yeah.
And we could definitely have a whole show about that. I think it's also really important for people to know there are lots of natural digestive aids that work in different ways, a number of different ones in different ways. And, it's really helpful to have one or two or a few of these on hand in your natural medicine cabinet because when indigestion strikes, any problems with digestion, you want to be able to have that relief and not think about running out to the store, for example.
Absolutely. And coming out of the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and all this, people tend to pack on a couple more pounds from, let's say, summer of the previous year and even fall. So that can throw off digestion. Adding extra body weight that you didn't need can definitely be a burden on the digestive tract. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that. And so something like PGX, there's a product that we've used a lot clinically here since we opened for the last 5-6 years here at Healthy Habit Clinic under their I think I forget the line now. It's the same line as the berberine, the WellBed X line, PGX. Tell us about this product. How can it help us to regain our healthy weight here to start the year? Gym memberships are going up a lot in the New Year's. So where can a product like PGX help, and what else can we do?
Yes, PGX is a combination of three different soluble fibers, and it is wonderful for supporting healthy digestion, but in particular, to your point, for people who are looking to maybe rein in a little the weight gain that can happen over the holidays,
Right.
or whether it's part of New Year's resolution, or just, you've had enough of carrying those few extra pounds that tend to creep up. PGX is wonderful working on a number of levels by incorporating it into your diet. It helps to make you feel more full. That's the first thing it does. It has a filling effect, literally, stretching your stomach receptors a little bit to send the message to your brain that you feel full because you are full of fiber. That's one important thing it does. It also helps to stabilize blood sugar levels. And so this is really critical for lowering our insulin requirements, helping to improve, things like insulin resistance and taking the edge off, not just your appetite, but cravings, because a lot of cravings, especially those for sweet and starchy foods, are driven by these fluctuations in our blood sugar level, that late night sweet tooth or
Right.
always wanting to snack between dinner and bedtime. That's a sign of fluctuating blood sugar. And PGX is fantastic for leveling out that blood sugar to help, just simply take the edge off your sweet tooth or your cravings.
And we have a collection here at naturalfactors.com of the different products that contain this PGX. We have the daily singles. We even have the daily ultra matrix from PGX Daily. And here's that one I was referencing earlier, the Well BetX version of PGX, which there's also a berberine under the Well BetX line. We've often combined the two in different protocols, berberine and PGX. So which one would you want to highlight for now? There's even protein powders that have the PGX in there, a double chocolate version, French vanilla, and just the original granules here. Which one would you want to highlight right now?
So you can think of PGX as coming in either a powder, basically it's granules that you can
Yeah.
sprinkle on any moist food,
Okay.
whether it's cereal, yogurt, a salad with salad dressing, or soup, just mixing it right into your food. So that's in individual packets or a tub. Or for people who would prefer to take a soft gel or a capsule, that's an option too. I actually really like the results. I mean, ultimately you get the same results, but the effect for people who are mixing it into their food and thinking about it as part of their
Mm,
diet.
right.
I really like that, the benefits of that, and the effects that it has, and people tend to stick with it, I would say longer term, because you just start to think a bit of it as a functional food.
Yeah. And I'm going to quickly pull up the Mulberry PGX Plus, where you said it can help with blood glucose management. And that's right here on the label, glucose management system. This is the one specifically we've given more of in combination with berberine. Always work with your physician to make the right decision on that one. That's just what we've used. Doesn't mean you need to go right away and do that. But again, PGX, it stands for polyglycoplex, as Dr. Kate was mentioning. And again, you said it's basically like a fiber.
Yeah, combination of three different soluble fibers.
Got it.
And the combination of these three different fibers makes it that a very small amount, like you'll see here, 2 grams. You think 2 grams of fiber, what could that do for me? But the combination of these specific fibers, that very small amount, will combine with water, the water in your stomach, or if you have some water when you take it, and then they absorb that water. And it's that absorption, what's called viscosity, that
Right.
makes you feel full, that helps to stabilize the blood sugar, that slows the absorption of sugar from the intestinal tract to the bloodstream. So all of those benefits come from that effect, that water absorbing effect.
Got it. And then why the mulberry? Out of all the herbs, how come a pinch of mulberry's added in there?
So in this particular formula, and I love this combination, the mulberry has additional blood sugar benefits to help to maintain healthy blood sugar levels, but that works on a completely different mechanism. And so they're very complementary in terms of how these two ingredients, the PGX and the mulberry, act together synergistically, you could say, to for that like 1-2 punch for the blood sugar and maintaining healthy blood sugar levels.
Got it. You mentioned the PGX specifically, it's three types of soluble fiber. Would you say a lot of people that live in the Western world are deficient in soluble fiber in their diet?
Definitely. And when we say the word fiber or talk about fiber, people often, intuitively think about bran, for example, the little like brown flecks you can see in terms of fiber, which are important for colon health, for example. But
Right.
really the big benefits that we talk about when it comes to fiber is this soluble fiber. So that is kind of invisible in that you don't see it. But it is the one that's going in and helping with, maintaining healthy cholesterol, maintaining blood sugar levels. It's a food for the
Hmm.
healthy bacteria in our intestines. That's one of the big things that it does. That has all the benefits that we associate with fiber. Fiber really is the soluble fiber.
Interesting. And I just pulled up a list for the YouTube viewers of just some various sources of soluble fiber. And this is so true. A lot of my patients they're not eating a lot of these foods anymore, like oats and even whole grains and even fruits now, because they've been told carbohydrates are bad
Mhm.
and sugar is not good for you. So I think even beans and lentils. I'm glad that this came up on the list, which is the legume family. And I've been
Mhm.
telling people, Dr. K, this is the most neglected food group in North America, are the beans and the lentils. People just literally never eat that unless they go out for Mexican food. They don't have that in the rotation at all. So do you have any favorites on here? And what are your thoughts on that whole, like, carbs are bad, so you should avoid fruits and even oats?
Yes, as you know, as usual, as often is the case, people have taken it too far.
Yeah.
There are good carbs and bad carbs, but when we're looking at things like beans in particular, beans, lentils, legumes, those are what we call slow carbs. So the carbohydrates from those foods, because of the soluble fiber that's in them, enters the blood sugar or blood system more slowly, so it doesn't cause the spikes that you would associate with, yeah, white flour, white sugar, those highly processed foods. These are whole foods, great source of soluble fiber.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you can even see here, beans are one of the best sources of the soluble fiber. Just 1 cup contains 15 grams of fiber, which is about
Mhm.
what half of what you need for healthy digestion and for a day's supply. And like you said, it can delay stomach emptying and make you feel full longer. And that's what's going on here with the PGX as well. As Dr. Kate mentioned, this is 3 types of soluble fiber. And it even tells you right here on the label, highly purified water soluble polysaccharide complex. So great, Dr. Kate. Thanks so much for highlighting that. Important. And folks, if you're just tuning in, episode 177, we're talking all things healthy digestion for the new year. Coming out of that fall and winter season, we want to start getting our digestion back in order. And so tell us then about Reliefiber as well. This is another product I'll pull up here in a moment. Can somebody pair this with PGX, and what's the difference here?
They could, although most people wouldn't take both together necessarily. That's certainly possible. So, relief fiber is another form of soluble fiber. This one's coming from guar beans, which have this wonderful form of fiber that also has a little bit of an ability to balance blood sugars or help you maintain healthy blood sugars. It also will take the edge off your appetite a little bit, not to the same extent as the PGX, but it has this wonderful benefit in terms of digestion. People will tend to reach for this particular form of fiber, probably incorporate it into their diet on a daily basis if they tend to have irritable digestion, digestion that may fluctuate unpredictably back and forth between constipation or loose stools. Maybe they have lots of gas and bloating on an ongoing basis. So this particular form of fiber has been shown to have these digestive benefits, help to promote regularity, and as well have just a little bit of that appetite and blood sugar benefit, but this is more focused on digestion.
Got it. So, yeah, it's not going to necessarily bring the same, like you said, blood sugar benefits, but it is tackling that fiber component since a lot of people are deficient. Most people get about 10 or 11 grams of fiber for the whole day, average in the Western world, where we need at least 20, 20 to 30. But you
Mhm.
can also overdo it with fiber, right? This isn't talked about enough. Do you have any thoughts on that?
You can overdo it with fiber. That's less common to see,
Right.
but certainly, anybody who decides on day one they're going to get in 50 grams of fiber
Yeah.
might be in for a surprise, as we can all imagine. Go slow when
Right.
you're increasing your fiber, adding 5 grams per day, for example, from one day to the next to get yourself up to those 25, 35 gram levels that we're recommending. And think about, our ancient ancestors, prehistoric ancestors, studies suggest they were probably getting closer to 100 grams of fiber per
Okay.
day. So 25, 35 is certainly achievable.
Absolutely. So tell us a bit more about FODMAPs. It's big here on the label, low FODMAP in big bold letters right above the relief fiber. And it's even if you look down here towards the bottom of the label, right next to natural factors, Monash University, low
Mhm.
FODMAP certified. So why is the FODMAP discussion important? And why is it low FODMAP?
For some people with irritable or unpredictable digestion, they are especially challenged by or have difficulty digesting certain types of carbohydrates, what are often called FODMAP. So, fermentable oligo and disaccharides. These are little sugar starch type molecules, specific ones,
Yeah.
that will cause gas and bloating. So some people do choose to try to follow a diet that eliminates those specific types of fibers. Now that can be challenging. There's a long list of foods that contains those. It can be to a somewhat restrictive diet. However, for people following that type of diet, this specific form of fiber is considered to be acceptable and even helpful. And the reference there to Monash University, that is a university in Australia that's considered
Okay.
to be the world leader in this type of FODMAP diets, as well as certifying foods and products that are acceptable within that style of eating.
Right. So some people with too much GI inflammation going on, the doctor might put them on a low FODMAP diet. And then I like that you included this right here in the website description. So then they may not be getting enough fiber because it's a pretty restrictive diet. So that's where a product like Reliefiber can come in, which contains the sun fiber, one of the world's most researched soluble fibers. And we just had that soluble fiber discussion. So again, from organic guar beans. So this can help potentially promote balanced digestive health, constipation, diarrhea, and then reduce the glycemic index of foods as well. And each one scoop is going to be giving you 5 grams or 5,000 milligrams of fiber for the day. So I'm glad we highlighted that product. Like you said, you can combine it with PGX. That shouldn't cause any issues, but they're doing different things. That's important for people to know, right?
Yes, they're doing different things. And when you're talking about adding in new fibers to your diet, starting small and working your way up. I mean, the thing about the low FODMAP relief fiber and the guar beans, they are famous or well known for being not causing gas or bloating, for example. They're very well tolerated, but just with any fiber, it's nice to start small and then work up.
Absolutely. So where do probiotics fit in with this discussion on healthy digestion?
Well, once you have upped your fiber and sent all that good fiber into your digestive tract, the probiotics are there to take advantage. That is what they eat. We talk all about the benefits of a high fiber diet, but we as human beings do not digest fiber in terms of breaking it down and absorbing it, not at all. Almost the whole point of this fiber is it's food for beneficial bacteria.
Right.
So the idea with the probiotics is to send in more beneficial bacteria, that delicate balance between good and bad bacteria or beneficial and potentially harmful bacteria can get thrown off by lifestyle, diet, illness, stress, even. And so by topping up on the good guys and specifically, specially selected strains of the good guys, that can help with digestion for lots of people.
Right, because we need our healthy gut bugs to help with our digestion. They're doing various things from producing short chain fatty acids, and they're doing all kinds of different stuff. They actually outnumber our human cells, right? Bacterial cells, about 10 to 1.
Much.
So what we'll highlight here for this episode, on episode 177 here, is the Ultimate Probiotic 12 by 12 formula. They even have other formulas specific for women's health. They have the 24 by 12 formula. But a good common starting point, of course, work with your doctor depending on what's going on, but a good starting point would be the 12 by 12 formula. Tell us a little bit about this specific 12 strain formula, Dr. Kate.
So, what makes this a good starting point for probiotics, or even, a general health maintenance type probiotic, just getting in those good bacteria on a regular basis, is a few things. First of all, the potency, the number of strains, excuse me, the guaranteed 12 billion active cells. Now, that's guaranteed at the time of expiry. So, even at the end of the shelf life of the product, you'll have at least that amount of potentially active, live colony forming cells, as it's
Right.
called. So that's one thing, as well as the combination of strains. You're looking at a dozen different strains, some of which are will focus on the large intestine, so the bifidobacteria for the colon, and then the lactobacilli are more focused on the small intestine. So you have this sort of what you could call broad spectrum probiotic support for covering the length of the intestinal tract.
Amazing. Daily nourishment for intestinal health. There's 60 vegetarian capsules here. And I like that even on the bottom you put, of course, essential gut support, but also immune support. People don't realize if we have a healthy gut, healthy digestion, we'll have a stronger immune system, right? And even mental health benefits too. Anxiety, depression is linked to bad number of bad bacteria versus the good bacteria. If they outnumber them, then that can directly impact our mental health, which is fascinating too. Serotonin, a lot of it's produced in the gut. So that's, again, by natural factors, the ultimate 12 by 12 probiotic formula. If you're looking to get started the new year with a fresh probiotic supplement. And I like on the back, they included all the different strains, very specific. And each one of these you can research individually, folks, like the Bifidobacterium lactis, HA194. You just type that into Google and add the word gut health or scholar. And there's literally published research on all these strains and what role they can play in our gut health. So what if someone's preparing to go out to eat a real fatty meal, oily, heavy meal, restaurant, or they know their family likes to go eat out and they're just going to go join them just to have a good community setting? Is there anything they can take to prepare for this on your radar here, like digestive enzymes, or just to help with at the moment digestion?
Well, there's a few things. If you know you're going to be going out for a big meal, a buffet where it may be heavy, fatty, you got a combination of proteins, fats, starches, you got it all. Maybe even some beans in there. I really love the multi-enzyme. And to take this, probably at the beginning of the meal when you start eating is best. When we eat a big meal, this is putting a lot of workload on our pancreas to produce fat digesting enzymes, protein digesting enzymes, even starch digesting enzymes. And so you want to give your pancreas a hand by adding in some enzymes to the system that help to, take the load off, take the work off. And so I really love the multi-enzyme for having all of those digestions plus alpha galactosidase, which is the enzyme that helps us break down the components that make beans and legumes gas forming, gas producing. We know they have that reputation because of these types of starches. So it even helps support that as well. So I really think of this as the buffet enzyme to give your digestive tract a helping hand with dealing with all that food.
And for the YouTube viewers, we're just sharing the high-potency multi-enzyme formula here that Dr. Kate just highlighted. And I'm glad you mentioned the beans and lentils, especially if people aren't used to eating those. And then after this episode, they try to bump them up. The GI tract might not be ready yet to handle it, but then hopefully with a multi-enzyme formula, that can help the body to get used to new foods that you're trying to add in that have high soluble fibers in there. And you can see the whole enzyme blend here, specific for carbohydrate digestion. Then we have ones for protein digestion and even for lipids or fat digestion. So it's interesting. The fat one only has the one enzyme in there. Any particular reason for that compared to all the
There's
others?
another lipase. If you scroll up the list, I'm pretty sure there was one more
Okay.
lipase up there. Oh, maybe I missed it. But we have lots of enzymes that help digest fats.
Right.
Different enzymes have different jobs. The amount of lipase that for that particular one is high, and it tends to complement the others in terms of protein and starch digestion as well as the beans and the legumes.
Right.
So this is a tried and true formula that has been a go-to for a very long time. Lots of loyal customers. Also a great choice for people who are switching to a plant-based diet, potentially. A lot of people looking either for a single meal or on an ongoing basis. They need more support for, all of these things, including the starch and the beans. And that's a nice option as well when your body's getting used to that kind of transition.
Perfect. Yeah. So this can help give that assistance with all that new soluble fiber coming down the hatch where the body's not ready for it. These enzymes can go a long way. I have a lot of patients that keep digestive enzymes in their purse or in the car just so they have it on hand before they eat a quick meal on the go. So this should get you on a good starting point here, the high potency multi-enzyme vegetarian formula. And this is straight from naturalfactors.com. But we have the whole setup here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. And what about a product like ginger? Can that play a role potentially in improving digestive health?
Very much so. So, the multi-enzyme is a nice thing to take at the beginning of the meal. And even if you've just eaten and you're starting to experience some gas and bloating, you could still try adding in, enzymes to the system and see how that helps you. But at this point, you may want, one or another of a few sort of relief items. Ginger is a nice one. And now ginger has this famous reputation for helping with nausea. So we definitely know for things like motion sickness, travel sickness, having that on hand, popping a ginger tablet, really helpful. But for that too full feeling, some people respond well to ginger. The chewable ginger tablets can be nice with, the upper digestive, like stomach type gas. For some people, that can really help settle their stomach. But it's just a nice one to have on hand for feeling overly full or maybe even a little bit of nausea. That's where ginger really shines.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of ginger, and they have the chewable ginger tablets here from Natural Factors, which I've taken a lot of over the years. It's really good for men's health and testosterone support, and it just does a lot of different things. They call it the mighty ginger in a lot of different published research studies. So tons of research backing ginger. And that brings us to the end of our segment. So we highlighted ginger, PGX, the low FODMAP relief powder by Natural Factors, and then even just the idea of low FODMAP foods and soluble fiber, and the 12 by 12 probiotic formula with the multi-enzyme. This was action-packed, Dr. Kate. Thank you so much for your time. And is naturalfactors.com a good starting point?
Definitely, to learn all about these digestive formulas as well as other support for digestion.
And make sure you folks also go to drkatend.com. That's doctor, the full word spelled out, DOCTOR, Kate, Kate, ND, like naturopathic doctor.com. Dr. Kate, as always, appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Great to see you. Take care.